Welcome to Redefining Love. I am your host, Tara Portelli, and I'm really excited about today's episode because I know that you guys, many of you, are going to be so fascinated by this fact alone of why is it that we continuously attract in the same patterns of relationship. And how do you break the cycle? Like, that is the most important question that people that continuously attract in the same people into their life over and over again on repeat. It's like I literally have the same situation but in a different body. And it's important to understand why this happens to us, how we can shift it and change it. And the way that I'm going to help you through this on this totally solo episode is I'm going to share my own personal experience and my own revelations within that experience, the wisdom that I extracted from that experience, and understanding myself on a deeper level. Almost to the point now where I can literally decipher a red flag and actually pay attention to it and walk away in the beginning without even taking a second guess because I already know how this plays out. I've been through this situation enough times that I know how this ends, and I don't want to go through that anymore. I want to attract different and better and more empowering situations and more nourishing relationships into my life. And so as we go through this episode, I just want to bring attention and awareness to the fact that when I recorded this particular episode prior to launching the podcast, I was actually living in the Mexican jungle, 30 minutes outside of Tulum, about a kilometer into the jungle, away from any roads, and living completely solo with my dog in this gorgeous villa that I was hosting retreats out of. But the reality of that situation was that there was so much that I personally needed to learn and grow from in that experience. So those months in the jungle were for me. They were for my own expansion, for my own healing. And I can't even tell you the amount of times I was brought to my knees and I'm like, I just can't do this. This is insane. Like, how many things can continuously happen to me? So not only personally, but also with people that I would attract into my life, which I'm going to share everything that happened during that time with this particular person. And it's all related to this idea of relationship patterns. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. I want to have a conversation about relationship patterns. And these can be relationships, intimate relationships, these can be friendships, whatever type of relationship. We get caught up in these patterns. So when you zoom out of your life and you reflect on all of the relationships that have shown up in your life, do you see a theme in these relationships? So taking a step back and really thinking about that. Because the people and the relationships that we attract into our life are a reflection of our internal state. So, for example, if you're somebody who struggles with your self-image or your body weight, you might attract into your life somebody that's going to criticize you. Or if you're somebody that gives too much, you're going to attract into your life somebody that takes too much. And these are the patterns because you're going to always meet the equal and opposite of your self because we are energy, we're vibration, and we can only attract in our life where we are vibrating. Even if we are positive, love and light, our bodies don't lie. Your trauma doesn't lie. The things you've been through, the things, your insecurities, your shadow, it doesn't lie. It's got its own vibration in your body. And so if you want to change the relationships that show up in your life, you have to change and work on yourself. So I'm going to kind of explore this with you guys through my own personal experiences because what better way to understand than to hear somebody's story? So for my entire relationship career, I attract in many relationships that were not healthy for me. They weren't part of my own expansion and growth. They weren't helping me to grow. If anything, they were teaching me a lot of things, but they were not helping me expand and grow. However, because of them, after they ended, I would expand and grow. And so I've always attracted in people that needed me to help them because I needed to feel worthy. I needed to feel needed. I needed to feel validated. And anybody that was good on their own, they didn't need me. So we weren't connected because I needed validation. I needed to be seen. And these were the things that I needed. My inner child, my wounded little girl, she needed these things. And it's played out my entire life. I'm 43 years old right now. And I'm still attracting in the wrong types of people into my life, but it's all illuminating my own personal wounds and where I need to do my own work, my inner work. And I had recently an experience with someone that I knew right away I shouldn't go there because the writing was on the wall, the red flags were there waving in the wind, and I still took that step and I still went into that situation. So I met this guy on the beach. I had seen him weeks before and noticed him. I noticed that he just was having a good time, not trying to be somebody, just being himself. And I really liked that. In this world that we live in where everybody's trying to be somebody, it was really refreshing for me. So, fast forward a month later, I'm walking to the bathroom at a beach club and he sees me and I smile. And then we started chatting and he asked for my number. It's not very often that I really, put myself out there. So I was like, why not? Let's do it. So he takes my number, comes over to me a little bit later in the day, starts asking more questions about me. And then I really felt in that moment his strong masculine energy. And strong masculine energy can be a reflection of a lot of trauma. Same with strong feminine. If we're not in balance, we have these wounds that we're going to reflect in how we show up. So for him, it was extremely strong. And I thought to myself, well, I can tell this guy's got a lot of stuff, a lot of trauma. This is my relationship patterns from the past. But I was always kind of revolted, I guess you could say, from the strong masculine, because for me, it always felt like a competition because I used to be in my masculine because I was a survivor. I was taking care of myself. I wasn't relying on anybody else to provide for me. I was always providing for myself, and that just forced me into my masculine. I couldn't settle into my feminine energy because I didn't have someone to be like, I've got you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to support you. I never had that in my life. And so when I would meet the strong masculine, when I was in my masculine, it was like, battle of the egos in a way. And it never really attracted those people into my life. So when I met this guy, in this moment, I'm in my feminine right now. And I felt like I feel safe here. I feel like this is okay. Like I feel like I can go here. And I was curious about the masculine. So I left the beach club and I thought to myself, but I know that he's got red flags written all over him. So if I don't hear from him, that's okay. I'm not going to be upset about it. Sure enough, the next day he messages me. We start getting into a conversation and it was about spirituality, about his views, about how, he's giving himself everything he needs. He doesn't need any woman in his life because I kind of set a boundary around just being friends. And I saw him through a different lens, and I'm like, well, maybe I've misread this guy, So now I'm doubting my own intuition, which always happens for us, right? As women, we just kind of like doubt ourselves. And then he asked to meet up for a coffee. So we go meet up for a coffee. And the coffee date was wonderful. I felt like we had a great connection. He shared with me a lot of his traumas, a lot of his experiences. I saw it as, okay, he's being open and vulnerable. And then, we had decided to meet up the following week to, reconnect again as friends because we're exploring a friendship. Well, he made a comment about a massage before we met up. And then I started to think to myself, I'm confused. This guy is telling me he doesn't want, any women in his life. He doesn't need them. He's made it very clear to me that he just wants to be friends. And now he's making hints at wanting to have a massage. And I said to him, listen, like, you're very confusing. I don't understand. Like, you want to be friends, you don't want to be friends. You're making these comments. He had made other comments as well, kind of alluding to like the idea that he was attracted to me or that like he wanted to spend more time with me. So, but I was like confused. It was like a push and pull. Again, another sign that there's a lot of trauma here. So I sent him a message saying, listen, if somebody came to you, a girl came up to you and said, or can I have a lesson with you? He teaches a sport. Can I have a lesson with you? And does it come with a massage? Just kind of give you some context. He wanted a hypnotherapy session, but asked if it came with a massage. How would you take that? Would you think that that person was wanting something else? I'm like, I kind of made a joke and I was like, maybe I'm getting old, but I'm not delusional. Then, because I had called him out on it, he turned around and he was like, you know what? He's like, I don't want to be your friend. You're very mature, but you're being very childish right now. I don't want to be your friend. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want anything with you. If somebody said that to me, I would just assume they were in love with me and I would say no. And then he was like, or it could just be that, a professional massage. And just like went on this rant for like 15 text messages and then blocked me. So as much as the red flags were there, as much as I was still curious, I was still not honoring myself in that situation because I wasn't trusting that this is probably like a no-go situation that I should get into. And in the end, it blew up in my face. And this made me come to this place inside of me where I was like, wow. Like, it's one thing for somebody to tell you that they're not attracted to you, although his messaging said something totally different. But to actually tell you to your face or in a message and say, like, I'm not attracted to you. I think he even said, I'm not sexually attracted to you. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want anything to do with you. You're childish, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. That's okay. And this really like was a moment for me where I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I attracting these people into my life? What is it that I could do that's going to change this? And what I realized is that, well, first of all, I have to start to pay attention to the red flags. And second of all, I can't keep giving so much because the reality is this was kind of a one-sided friendship. We hung out a few times and I felt like, it was me a lot giving, listening, holding space, giving, listening, holding space. But what was I getting in return? I'm getting nothing from this exchange. And so this has been my relationships patterns. I give and I don't receive. And maybe you guys can relate to this. And it was also a very important moment for me because it made me realize that I'm going to take me back now. I'm going to give me everything I need. I'm not going to rely on anybody else to give me what I need. I'm not going to look for anybody else to give me what I need. But what I really saw that I needed was I was looking for validation. I was looking to feel wanted. I was looking to feel desired. But when we look for it outside of ourselves, it's never going to feel like it's enough. We'll always need that person to tell us that we're, that they care about us or that we're attractive or that they love us. We always need to be reassured all the time. I don't know if you guys can relate to this. Just you need to hear it, you need to know it, you need to want to feel it, you need all the things. But when you're in your own power, when you're in your own strength, like strong feminine power, you don't need anything from anybody. And this experience tore me down. It made me feel really bad about myself. But then it made me go inside and be like, but Tara, are you those things? Do you need that from this person? You know, this person is wounded. You know, they've had obviously a tumultuous experience with women in the past. You know that they've been hurt very deeply by the feminine. And this is why they're so strongly in their masculine. You know all of these things, but why are you taking this personally? Because this isn't actually about you. This is not about you. This is about them. And this is something that you can take away from this is that, like, when somebody intentionally hurts you or says something to hurt you, this is not about you because you're just the trigger. This is them. This is their stuff. It's not personal. It's what they're experiencing. You know, the things inside of you that they are criticizing or the things inside of the things that they say to you, it's just a protection for themselves. They're just essentially like in a wounded, burned experience and they're protecting themselves and their ego and they're just trying to build themselves back up, however that is for them. And they can kick you. They don't know you. Maybe they do know you, whatever the case is. And so it's important that you stand in your own power and you know your worth and you know your value and you feel it in your body. And so a lot of the work that I do with people is around self-love, self-compassion, around acceptance of self and all of the dark side of us, because we all have a dark side. And it's really important that we embrace that dark side and we recognize that the dark sides and aspects of ourselves that we have actually bring us a lot of gifts. You know, they are actually really important parts of ourselves, but we might not see it like that. So it's a very important work to do, this inner shadow work, to really truly accept yourself and fully. And you know, the more I do this work, the more I recognize what I need to feel good on my own by myself. The more love I give myself, the more I fill my own cup, the more I do the things that bring me joy, that inspire me, that make me feel good, make me feel grounded, the more I don't need anything from anybody else or anything, any material thing, because I can give myself everything that I need in this moment. And so to break out of these relationship patterns, it all starts here. It all starts with you. It all starts with doing that healing work inside. And obviously, I'm still in my own journey, but I think that this last experience that I just described to you was the most massive catalyst in 1 week, 2 weeks that I've ever experienced, to recognizing and understanding my own value, my own worth, and that it wasn't about me, even though in the moment I took it personally. So I hope that there's something here for you. I hope that, you can resonate with some of these experiences in the dating world, whether you're single or you're in a relationship. I mean, things are going to come up, but relationships are the most important opportunity for us to really do our own healing work. Because in those relationships, we learn about ourselves. We learn about how to overcome and how to give ourselves the things that we need in those moments of vulnerability. So don't let anybody make you feel less than you are. Know your worth. Own your own power. Step into that power. Give yourself all the things that you're looking for outside of yourself. Everything that you seek, whether it's love or, someone to have an adventure with or to do life with, like, do those things with you. And as you give yourself everything you need, that's the moment when you don't need anybody else, that the right person is going to enter into your life. Because that person is also doing all the things for themselves. They don't need you and you don't need them, but they want somebody in their life. And maybe you want somebody in your life. And you meet at this moment when your energy and your healing has happened and your vibration has shifted. And now you guys can connect with each other because you're in the same frequency. I really hope that this episode was something that you connected with. And if you didn't, there's going to be so many different types of episodes. This is just one aspect of relationships that we're exploring. And I hope you're taking something away from it if you are somebody that attracts in the same types of patterns into your relationships. They can even be friendships. You might even recognize that there's the same type of friends that you continuously attract in based on how you're showing up. And as you work on you and you nourish that inner relationship with the self, you can start to shift the frequency of yourself and in turn shift the frequency of people that you attract into your life. And so it's a really beautiful experience to go through and to become the witness to. And so for myself now, I find I'm in a much more empowered state to see red flags a mile away. Like when I look back at this video, it wasn't only 4 months ago, but yet I find that I've changed so much since this situation that came up for me. So if you enjoyed this podcast, if you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, it would mean so much to me if you would subscribe and rate this podcast and even leave a comment if it really resonated or if there's something that came up for you. You can follow me on Instagram. I am Tara Portelli, or you can check out my website, taraportelli.com, to see all of the retreats coming up and the things that I offer, including one-on-one work. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you, sharing my own wisdom, my own personal experiences, hoping that you find your story in mine. Have a beautiful day. Until next time.